And thank you to IShowSpeed for letting me know that Algeria is not for the people.
My eardrum just busted, bro. I'm not even trolling. My shit ringing. I can't.
I'm sorry, did we just witness them trying to take this man's life? From them throwing water bottles at him and shooting fake bullets at him, I think it's a very clear message that they don't want him there. That's very clear that they don't want us to come back either. Speed just wanted to show us some different cultures in Africa, and these folks ain't having it. And to those who are saying that this isn't racism, that's a lie. You can't hide racism on camera. They weren't mad because he had his camera out. This is IShowSpeed we're talking about, the world's biggest streamer. They're mad because they're not understanding why a black man like IShowSpeed is getting the praise that he is. And we can leave it at that.
Like me. No. I don't. They keep throwing water at me. I just came here to watch the football game, bro. I don't know what's up with these fans. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. I'm leaving. I think I'm not welcomed here. I don't understand. All of my fans show love in Algeria, but at that stadium, I don't know. They should have just...
Right guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Mr. J and this is Mr. J Diaspora. Thank you so much for those who have subscribed, and if you have not subscribed, please keep on subscribing. We're still on our journey to 1,000 subscribers, guys. Now, Speed is still in Africa and he's still doing his tour, and of course, most of the countries in Africa, it has been a successful journey. It has been a successful tour, and of course, it has been each and every time people are speaking about it. But now, Speed went to North Africa. When I say North Africa, it actually means those countries that are in the north part of Africa. That is Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. Those countries that mostly have Arabs in them. Now, it was very, very chaotic, and it was a very bad image for Africa when Speed went to Algeria, because there was these attacks that he was being attacked with. He was being attacked with the fake bullets, and also being thrown with the bottles of water, and it was very, very chaotic. And this has brought so much discussion on Africa, bringing a bad image to the African countries. But now, one thing that people don't know is that this is not. It does not only happen to Speed, because even Africans, when they visit there, it happens to them. Those people, most of the time they declare themselves that they are not African. So, well, what do you expect from people that think that way? No, it's of course you expect chaos. Now, guys, let us listen to more people. Then we'll come back and talk more about this story.
Algeria has been the worst place IShowSpeed has gone on his Africa tour. And I, for one, when I get to Africa, will not be visiting. Some of the people there were nice, but a lot were not. Like an entire football stadium full of people hurling words and vegetables at Speed. Like he's not literally helping out tourism here. And I already knew this was going to happen, which is why I didn't talk about any of it after day one. I purposely waited for day two because I knew it's coming. If I'm being entirely real with you, I'm going to be checking in on Speed in Northern Africa, but I'm not really excited because I already know how they view us. I know how they view themselves. When I go to Africa, I will be skipping over quite a few areas in Northern Africa. Algeria, you're the worst. How's it feel to know that the one time that you get a major influencer in your area, you completely sell the bag because you can't get out of your own way? Every other part of the tour has been better. How ironic is it that the closer people get to looking like this, the worse they view this? Speed, you were very professional. Never go back to Algeria. Oh, and grown man, by the way. Don't believe me? Watch this.
What happened to Speed while in Algeria? Because unfortunately, it's not a good look.
They throwing stuff? Turn stone. Ah, shit. Why they throwing stuff? Ah. Oh, hell no. What they throwing? not even on a rivalry team. What the hell? Hell no, we gotta get out of here.
See, IShowSpeed was live streaming whilst in Algeria as part of his Africa tour while he was attending a Super Cup football match just yesterday. And while he was there, as you can see, some fans began throwing bottles and other objects at him, leading him to actually have to be escorted from the venue completely, and even him actually having to end his stream as well. Now, while this is all happening, some watchers of the live stream actually reported hearing some people call Speed the N-word in a derogatory way. And that, of course, is in spite of most, if not all of them, being black themselves. But what you need to remember is that racism is not just a matter of one group dominating another in a legal or systemic sense. Because it's true, people of any background or even the same background can use racial stereotypes or derogatory slurs even towards themselves. For example, a black person may target another black person because they see the other one as different, even though they might share the exact same ancestry. But this should not be about dragging an entire country. No, this should be about acknowledging that racism exists everywhere, unfortunately, and pretending otherwise only protects it. So if you're not prepared to call it out even when it seems inconvenient, maybe you should be asking yourself if you were ever serious about—
Message to all the Algerians, man. I know your country's PR is kind of in the mud right now because Speed just got attacked on his stream. However, it could have been a lot worse. You're actually lucky they only threw water bottles and stones at Speed. Because if they start throwing bananas, bro, that, you know what I'm saying, you guys would struggle trying to beat those racist allegations, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least now you can say, nah, bro, it's just you thought he was thirsty and that.
Speed receiving racial slurs in Algeria wasn't shocking to many black Africans. It was familiar. What made it different this time is who it happened to and how visible it was. When someone with that level of reach experiences it, the moment can't be dismissed or buried. And it forced a conversation many people on the continent already know needs to happen. Just days earlier, during the African Cup of Nations match, an Algerian footballer, Mohamed Amoura, celebrated a goal by mocking a Congolese supporter who had become one of the standout symbols of the tournament. Now, that supporter stood motionless, deliberately evoking Patrice Lumumba, a man assassinated for daring to imagine African dignity beyond colonial control. Yes, Amoura later apologized, saying he didn't understand what the gesture represented. And that admission matters, because these moments aren't really individual malice. They're about memory, or the absence of it. Africa isn't one culture, but it is a shared history of exploitation, of resistance, and disruption. Yet, colonial borders, uneven education systems, and inherited hierarchies have fractured how Africans understand one another, how we understand each other's struggle. In some regions, proximity to Europe has encouraged distance from African identity. Nobody wants to be black. Now, even though those same regions have endured dispossession and violence from outside powers as well, even though we even have shared history. This isn't about pointing fingers. It's about naming a wound. When history is fragmented, solidarity weakens. When symbols lose meaning, disrespect becomes easy. That's why these moments matter. And that's why telling African history clearly, honestly, and across borders isn't optional. It is necessary. It is important.
People wanted me to talk about Speed facing racism in North Africa. This probably has to deal with the fact that I said Speed wouldn't face racism when he's around people who also experience the same thing he does and know how he feels, aka most of the people in Africa. But you guys have mistaken. North Africans have always been racist. Morocco, Algeria, these countries are known to be racist. And I've talked to many Moroccans that are in my Discord server, and they tell me personally, like, their older relatives are super racist. That's why I'm not surprised by this, because I already know this. Just because they share the same continent does not mean that they're going to be excluded from giving racism out. Especially when you consider the fact that they don't even see themselves as black or the same people as sub-Saharan Africans. Which Speed is, but also the fact they try to separate themselves all the time. I mean, you can go on TikTok comments even and see it with the youth, even African, or they'll say that they're not African in the same association as sub-Saharans are African. That's why I'm not really surprised. I was gonna speak on this, but I'm not surprised by this. If Speed goes down back, like Ethiopia, y'all, I told y'all, he went to Ethiopia and that was literally his best stream. And y'all niggas were trying to clown Ethiopia.
Right, welcome back. First of all, let me just be very, very clear. It's not all part of Algeria that are attacked or had an issue with IShowSpeed or people are having issues with. Actually, it's a very, very a small part, but it really impacted the how Algeria is being looked. People are looking at Algeria right now, especially people that are living in the United States of America. Now, I've seen a couple of people from Algeria and from other people saying that there's a group in the stadium that they are called ultras something, that they are not supposed to be shown. Their video are not supposed to be shown. I don't know for what reason, but I believe that Speed has a very capable team, and if you go and try and talk to them, they couldn't have gone there to stream rather than throwing bottles at him. That was very, very wrong, and that was very, very disgusting, very bad. It was a very bad, and it really brought a bad image to Africa. But the good thing is that Speed has not, that was not the first place that Speed went. He went to other good countries that he was welcome. So I believe that when people are seeing this video, they don't judge that as Africa. They judge that as that particular country, because there are so many countries, especially Kenya. When he went to Kenya, you see how he was welcomed. When he went to Ethiopia, you see how he was welcome. When we went to South Africa, it was amazing. Now also Ethiopia, so you can't start judging that all the countries in Africa are like that. Those Arab countries, they always have issues, especially with the black people. That's why you hear most of the time they claim that they are not part of Africa, which we don't even have an issue with. If you claim that you're not part of Africa, we don't care. You know, the big problem is when you start looking yourself as a very special person, that is already a bad thing. That is already abusive thing. If you start seeing yourself as a special person because of your skin, that tells you a lot. If you are in Africa and you're calling yourself that you're not African, and yet you're in Africa, that's something else. So, and we don't care about that. But I'm not saying that these people from North Africas, all of them are bad. There are good people there that they don't even have issues with the skin color, with anything. And I know the biggest problem when IShowSpeed, you see this, the problem with people that are racist, they don't love someone that is not their skin to be more successful. If for example you're Arab and you see someone and you are a racist, when you see a black person who is successful, you start getting mad. Now that's the problem with maybe when IShowSpeed was in Algeria, because they see this black person who is very, very successful, is being seen all over the world. Now they go crazy about it. But now it happened. So one thing that I want to make it clear, that is, it is not all African countries are bad. The good thing that you have seen these good countries in Africa. Well, you have seen Kenya, you have seen Ethiopia, you have seen South Africa, you have seen so many other countries that are good. And actually, when IShowSpeed also went to Egypt, it wasn't that bad. And those also are Arabs, but it wasn't that bad. So I believe there are good people and there are good countries in Africa. So don't judge Africa because of that particular country. And I believe that Speed is still continuing with his tour, and of course the most awaited also stream will be in Nigeria. So we're waiting to see what will happen to that particular stream. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and also don't forget to share this video. Very important, don't forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to like. If you like the video, the YouTube algorithm will show it to more people. See you in the next video. Goodbye.